Hello, leaders, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So this week, I started talking yesterday about the concept of accountability. And today, I want to discuss how if accountability is a choice, as we discussed yesterday, are we holding people accountable or capable? Brian Moran, author of The 12-Week Year, told a group of us a couple weeks ago that we should hold people capable instead of holding them accountable. Now, I told you yesterday, this whole concept kind of blows my mind a little bit. So I'm talking through it to get a better idea and to better understand it. I mean, just last night, I was watching a TV show and I heard several times how people were holding each other accountable. And that just seems to be the general understanding. It's programmed into our brains that we can hold people accountable. So what is it? Can we or can't we hold others accountable? Is it just a matter of the way we think about it or the way we say it? Well, let's break it down a little bit. According to Webster's Online Dictionary, accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. I want to focus on the latter part of this, to account for one's action. Now, I also looked up accountable, and accountable is defined as subject to giving an account and capable of being explained. You know, after reading these two definitions, I kind of understand it just a little bit better, but it's still a little fuzzy. Here's the way I translate that. To hold somebody accountable is basically saying they have accepted responsibility and will account for their actions to the point that they will be able to explain the results. In essence, if we combine this translation with what we discussed yesterday about accountability being a choice, it makes sense. However, the definition does use the example of holding somebody accountable for their actions, which makes me believe that you can hold somebody accountable to a certain degree. The definition also states that the person gives account for their actions, which alludes to the whole accountability being a choice concept. Being that I was still a little fuzzy on this, I dug a little deeper and came across an article in the Harvard Business Review from 2016, and it was titled "The Right Way to Hold People Accountable." Now, in this article, it lists 5 ways to foster accountability in the people around us. Now, did you catch that? It offers us 5 ways to foster accountability. And I think that's a better way of really looking at this. Now, first of all, it said you need to set clear expectations. I totally agree with this, as we must provide crystal clear expectations if we are to expect our people to give account for their actions or their choices. Second, the article said clear capability. We must ensure our people have the skill set to meet or exceed the expectations that we set for them. Otherwise, we're setting them up for failure before they even ever begin. Third, the article said we need to have a clear measurement criteria of some kind so our people can determine whether their actions are moving them in the right direction to achieve the task they are expected to achieve. I compare this to keeping score. On some degree, we all want to win, or as a minimum, we all want to know if we're winning or just how far behind we are at any given point in the game, quote unquote. The same can apply for work tasks. Fourth, the article says to give ongoing feedback on a weekly basis to ensure your people know where they stand in regards to the expectations and measurements, and help them get back on track if needed. Finally, have clear consequences. The article states that if you've followed the 4 steps up to this point, you now have 3 choices that you can make. You can repeat, you can reward, or release, depending on whether the person achieved the expectations or not. I really like these 5 steps to foster accountability, and yet I think the process steps away from fostering accountability to more of a training and or coaching process during step number 4, when we provide feedback. I mean, if our people are capable, we shouldn't have to provide feedback or check in on them to see if they're measuring up to the standard or expectations. We should be able to skip this step altogether and move right to the final step of clear consequences. Well, for now, I'm pretty satisfied to accept that accountability is a personal choice and others cannot really hold us accountable, but they can set us up for success by following 4 or 5 steps mentioned to foster accountability. To quickly recap, to foster accountability for our people, we can have clear expectations, we can ensure clear capability, we can have a clear measurement tool in place, we can provide clear feedback, and we can communicate clear consequences. Hey, that's it for today. I'm sorry I went a little bit long, but this was a lot to cover. As always, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and until tomorrow, run to your challenges.